Your vote, shaping our future. From high-stakes local races to the presidency, coverage starts now. From KXAN, your local election headquarters.
And welcome to Election Night here on KXAN. I'm Daniel Marin.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. Let's get right to it. Former President Donald Trump wins Texas with 56% of the vote. Vice President Kamala Harris about 1 million votes behind with 42% of that vote.
Vice President Harris is at Howard University in Washington, D.C. That's where NBC's Bree Jackson is tonight. But first, former President Trump and his supporters are in Florida tonight. NBC's Alice Barr is live from West Palm Beach with the Trump campaign. We'll start with Alice.
Daniel and Jennifer, the enthusiasm has certainly been building around me here at the Palm Beach County Convention Center, where supporters of former President Trump have been gathering throughout the evening, really throughout the day. And you can see the crowd behind me. Many of them have been here for hours. They wanted a front row seat for when former President Trump is expected to come address supporters at some point this evening. We don't know yet exactly when that will be, but you may have heard it just then. Every time there's a new projection put up on one of the big screens that is in the win column for the former president, you're hearing cheers all around. Just a lot of energy in this room. And NBC News has also been in contact with 3 Trump campaign officials who say that the mood at Mar-a-Lago, the former president's estate not too far away from here, has moved from cautiously optimistic to really just outright optimistic. And one senior advisor tells NBC News that they're looking at those substantial gains among Black and Latino voters. They're calling it an historic reshaping of the electorate that's going for Republicans and lining up with what they were anticipating and what they're hoping is going to deliver a victory for them tonight. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Alice Barr, thank you so much. Let's head to NBC's Bree Jackson. She is in Washington, D.C. That's where Vice President Kamala Harris is at Howard University. Bree, what's the latest from there?
So we're here at the campus of Howard University, and there are thousands of students and supporters here for Kamala Harris. But bottom line is, right now you can really feel the sense of anxiety as these numbers are rolling in. We do know that right now Kamala Harris is behind when it comes to those electoral college votes. And we've been talking with people, in particular longtime Democratic strategists, and they tell us that while they are disappointed with what they're calling the shaky numbers, they still are hopeful that Vice President Harris can pull out a win. And we also spoke with one Democratic lawmaker who said these numbers are pretty concerning right now. They said that this is a reminder for them of 2016 when Hillary Clinton, it appeared in the early part of the night, was winning. And then she eventually, as you know, lost that race. So they're hopeful that Kamala Harris can make up some ground when these big critical battleground states come in, more so when you're getting the Georgia, the North Carolina, and as well as the Pennsylvania numbers. And so it's really tense here at Howard University as people here are watching these results pour in with bated breath.
All right, Bree Jackson live for us again at Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Well, here's how the electoral map is looking at the moment. This is according to data from the Associated Press, and you can see what Bree Jackson was just talking about right there. Former President Trump is up with 214 electoral votes right now to 179 votes for for Vice President Harris. Of course, still all the battleground states still need to return their results, and a lot of those are too close to call right now. Pennsylvania, too close to call according to NBC. Georgia, too close to call. Michigan, too close to call. Wisconsin, too close to call as well.
In the U.S. Senate race between Ted Cruz and Colin Allred, it was called last hour. If you were with us on KXAN News at 9 o'clock on the CW Austin with incumbent Senator Ted Cruz, he was delivering his acceptance speech, garnering 54% of those votes, and Colin Allred had 44% of those votes. 74% of those votes were in.
And if those numbers stay the way they are, it appears that Colin Allred would underperform compared to Beto O'Rourke the last time around. And this is why the Texas Senate race is so important this time around. Here's a look at the balance of power in the U.S. Senate. Coming into tonight, Democrats had a very slim majority of 2 seats, and they had many more seats up for grabs than Republicans. And right now, the balance of power, according to the Associated Press, Democrats with 38 seats, the GOP with 48 seats. Our Ryan Chandler is live in Houston at Senator Cruz's campaign. Ryan, how is the Cruz campaign feeling tonight, and what's been his closing message?
Well, Danny, I'll tell you, the Cruz campaign was bullish coming into tonight. They expected to win, but hearing from some people in his campaign, I don't think anybody expected this. They blew out their own expectations. Just about an hour ago, Cruz got on stage and delivered a rousing speech where he not just declared victory, but a mandate to govern, noting that he's winning by margins that he's never seen. Remember, back in 2018, he beat Beto O'Rourke by just about 200,000 votes, fewer than 3 points. Now he's up by almost 10 points and almost 900,000 votes, more than quadrupling his margin from his last re-election. So it is a festive atmosphere here. People are, I think, surprising themselves a little bit to see this kind of result for Ted Cruz. Let's listen to a little bit of what he had to say in his victory speech tonight.
The people of Texas have spoken. And their message rings clear as a bell across our great state. Texas will remain Texas. And I want to say to all of those who didn't support me, you have my word that I will fight for you, for your jobs, for your safety, and for your constitutional rights.
And where I'm standing right now in Harris County is a Democratic stronghold, but the mood among some Democrats here and analysts is that Democrats did not come through. Harris County had their lowest voter turnout since 2000 by just the percentage of voters that turned out. Of course, the population here has skyrocketed. Millions of votes came through, but the margins just didn't come through for Colin Allred in these major Democratic urban strongholds. So Ted Cruz is going to continue partying here tonight until around 11:30, and we'll continue to track that as we get some of the last results to come in. But so far, the margins are just continuing to look better and better for now third-term Senator Ted Cruz. Jennifer, Daniel.
All right, our Ryan Chandler live in Houston for us tonight.
Okay, Cruz's challenger is in Dallas tonight. State of Texas host Josh Hinkle is there this evening, where Democrats were hoping for a win for Colin Allred in this election night. Josh, what's the mood been in that room? We talked to you about an hour ago, and you said it was pretty somber.
Yeah, it was really exciting for quite a while. I mean, this is a country music venue, so everyone was having a really good time. And then when they told over the screen here over my shoulder that the result is what it is, and so people were starting to boo and were not very happy. But, I think that there's still a lot of excitement for what the campaign was able to accomplish. Democrats believe they did make some inroads in Texas, and they're certainly hoping that will sustain them into the next election.
And speaking of which, Josh, what does tonight mean for Texas Democrats going forward? What does it mean for Colin Allred going forward?
Well, I think for Texas Democrats, it really depends a lot on what Colin Allred wants to do next. He won't be returning to Washington, D.C. in any capacity anytime soon. Maybe he will run for Texas governor, become the Democratic nominee in 2026. And strangely enough, I've seen 2 of the past 3 Democratic nominees for governor here tonight. Wendy Davis was up speaking earlier, her support for Colin Allred. Lupe Valdez, the former Dallas County Sheriff, was also here as well, supporting Colin Allred. So I think a lot of people are kind of wondering and waiting what he's going to say when he comes out tonight eventually, and also in the coming months after the campaign kind of settles down. But certainly Democrats are also looking to 2031, which is a little further away, but that's really important because that's when the Texas legislature will hold all of the next redistricting. And with any demographic shifts that have happened with the population that could be favorable for Democrats, that could be a big change when it comes to future elections down the road.
All right, our Josh Hinkle live in Dallas for us tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the balance of power in the U.S. House of Representatives. The Democrats also at a disadvantage coming into tonight with the GOP slim majority there. And right now, according to the Associated Press, the balance of power, Democrats have 107 seats secured, the GOP at 160. Let's take a look at some local congressional races for you. In the District 37 race, Austin Representative Lloyd Doggett, a Democrat, handily winning another term at 75% of the vote.
And in the District 35 race, Representative Greg Casar will keep his seat with 68% of the vote, defeating Stephen Wright, who had 32% of that vote.
Another Another big race tonight, the Austin mayoral race. There were 5 candidates in the running. We have the top 4 on the screen for you right now. And right now, current Mayor Kirk Watson appears to be maybe staving off a runoff with 51% of the vote. We have about 87% of the vote in right now, but Kirk Watson appears to be maintaining a lead.
And let's talk to Grace Reeder. She joins us live tonight. She has been covering this race, and I know that you spoke to Mayor Kirk Watson. What do you have to say?
That's right. He took the stage within the last hour here, and he was excited and optimistic, but said that it was too close to call this triumphant yet. Let's take that soundbite from him from earlier tonight.
And it looks to me very much like we're going to prevail in this race, but you can't call an election with just early vote.
And so just a reminder for folks who feel like you just went and voted for mayor, you did. Austin Mayor Kirk Watson served a half-term 2 years, and that's because Austinites voted to move their mayoral election to run concurrently with presidential elections. That's why you're voting again on Austin Mayor. So right now, we just went and checked this next batch of results here with Austin Mayor Kirk Watson standing right here. He still doesn't feel that it's close enough for him to call it, but Carmen Yanis-Polito is his closest contender. I talked with her earlier today, and she did bring up the runoff opportunity. Here's what she said.
We are just getting started. We are not finished. We're very likely going to a runoff, so stay tuned and jump on board. And regardless, this community has come together. They have changed the conversation, and we are not moving backwards. We are moving forward with more accountability and more inclusiveness of the community that's most impacted by the issues that face Austin.
The mayor now leaving here for the night, likely going to be making more announcements tomorrow as these numbers start to come in, but we'll stay on top of this race for you all.
Okay, Grace Reeder live for us. Thank you so much. Let's take a look now at some of those Austin City Council seats. District 6, that's in Northwest Austin. The incumbent here is Mackenzie Kelly. She is trailing behind her opponent, Krista Lane. Mackenzie Kelly coming in with 48% of that vote. Krista Lane with 52% of the vote, and 88% of those votes are in thus far.
Let's jump over to Austin City Council District number 2. This represents parts of South and Southeast Austin. Vanessa Fuentes, the incumbent here in KXAN, has projected that she will win another go-around. Pretty commanding decision here, 86% of the vote there.
And now let's go to Austin District 4, covering parts of North, Central, and East Austin. The incumbent here is Chito Vela, and you can see that he has 61% of the votes. Monica Guzman, 26% of the votes, and Lewis Heron with 6% of the votes. 88% of those votes are in.
I want to expand out now to Travis County, where voters were asked to decide on Proposition A. This is the proposition that would create new affordable child care, but it does come with a 2.5-cent property tax rate increase. It does appear, though, that voters are in favor of this proposal. Those in favor at 60% right now, those against at 40%.
And now to the Travis County District Attorney race, where incumbent DA Jose Garza defeats his Republican challenger. Jose Garza getting 68% of those votes. Daniel Betts with 32% of those votes. Let's check in with Avery Travis. She joins us live now from the Driscoll in downtown Austin. Avery.
Jennifer, Daniel, when we are talking about crime, and particularly violent crime, it's a talking point we've heard at pretty much all levels of this election, from the presidential race all the way down to our local elected officials, but maybe none more so than the Travis County District Attorney's race. That's because as the top prosecutor for the county, they're tasked with prosecuting felonies and felony crimes. Now, Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza told us just minutes after he was projected to win another 4 years as this top prosecutor position that he is focused on victims of violent crime, but he also is still focused on the efforts to reform the criminal justice system through programs that are targeting diversion and really prevention, the root causes of crimes, he says. Now, he has faced some criticism over the last 4 years about not being tough enough on crime, some of that coming from here locally. We heard that in his Republican opponent, Daniel Betts, but also some of that coming from the state level. There was, you may remember, an effort to pass legislation that ultimately did pass, aimed at being able to remove elected prosecutors from their positions over office misconduct. So we took some of these criticisms to the DA and got his response. Take a listen.
In our democracy, I am responsible to this community here in Travis County. That is my focus, and that will continue to be my focus, to serve the people who live and work in this county every single day. And I'm so incredibly grateful to have their vote of confidence tonight.
he reiterated for us something that we've heard a lot from him over the last 4 years, and that's that he believes these reforms and these efforts that his office has been working on and will continue to work on will make Travis County safer for everyone. And as of the results tonight, he will have 4 more years in office to do so. I'll send it back to you all in the studio.
All right, Avery Travis, thank you very much for that.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
If you spend any of the last few hours, even before the sun set outside, you can feel the change in the air today after last night's cold front. And we've got widespread 50s already now. Even these numbers are close to being our chilliest temperatures of the fall season, and the numbers will continue to fall through the night thanks to a clear sky overhead and light winds. We think we'll get down to 50 at the warmest in Austin, even some upper 40s not out of the question. And most areas away from the city will get down in the middle 40s and even some low 40s. So we'll track those 40s overnight, the potential for some decent rain Thursday and Friday, and the severe weather risk and the rainfall totals that come with it.
You're watching Election Night coverage on KXAN, your local election headquarters.
And welcome back. We are keeping an eye on the balance of power in Congress, and there are 3 U.S. House seats in South Texas that could really help decide who takes that majority.
KXAN's Will Dupree is live in our newsroom. And Will, which elections are you watching down there, and what did the latest results show?
Yeah, we want to check in with these races in South Texas because the Democrats had eyed them as potential flip opportunities to potentially gain power in the U.S. House of Representatives, and it looks like the Democrats are holding on in 2 of the races. Right now, though, we want to take a look at U.S. House District 28. The incumbent Henry Cuellar and the Republican Jay Furman are currently almost tied with both 50% each and only about 56% of the vote in at this time. More votes to be counted, so we'll move to the next one. U.S. House District 34, the Democratic incumbent Vicente Gonzalez is leading over former Congresswoman Myra Flores, 52-48. This is a rematch from 2022, as is U.S. House District 15. Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz is facing Democrat Michelle Vallejo, and as the results show right now, there's about 10 points difference between the Republican and the Democrat, with the Republican holding on to that seat at this moment in South Texas.
All right, Will Dupree live in the newsroom for us. Thank you very much. There are a couple of races in Hays County that we're watching. A proposed $400 million bond to improve transportation infrastructure. And it appears voters are saying okay to this, with 56% in favor, 44% against.
And in the Hays County Sheriff's race right now, Anthony Hippolito winning with 53% of that vote against Alex Villalobos with 47% of the vote.
Another sheriff's race for you, this one in Williamson County, and it appears the Republican challenger Matthew Lindeman is ahead 52% of Sheriff Mike Gleason. Again, that is in Williamson County.
Austin ISD is asking voters for a tax rate increase, and here's a look at those results now. For 59% against 41%. So we know that 87% of those votes are in, and that voters have voted for it.
Y'all, this is a huge, huge, huge deal. Congratulations, everybody.
Austin ISD leaders celebrating there tonight that outcome that will help tackle that multi-million-dollar deficit within the district.
All right, we're joined now by Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon. We couldn't have asked for more beautiful weather on an election day.
Just fantastic. No excuses to not get out and vote here today. At least you couldn't blame the weather, right? But it's going to be a cold start to your morning tomorrow, and that's what I want you to think about. If you're up late at night watching the election results, you want to get up early enough to give the kids some extra layers with widespread 40s expected. Austin's going to be a close call. 49-50, but just outside the city, I expect those widespread 40s, even some low 40s in parts of the hill country. But the dry air should heat up very quickly tomorrow. Just some patches of morning fog and then a lot of sun. We'll get up to 78 here tomorrow afternoon. But then the changes start to come back. Area of low pressure digging through the western states is actually going to make a turn to the east and then northeast. That's going to help to pull the moisture back into central Texas. So through the day tomorrow, barely a cloud around after any patch patchy morning fog. But then as that moisture gets pulled back in, we're going to start seeing scattered showers and a few thunderstorms Thursday morning, a little bit more in the way of thunderstorms and downpours Thursday afternoon. Then we get a brief break, and then we're back to the showers Friday morning ahead of the cold front that's going to bring a line of downpours and storms, especially to the hill country. This line may actually fall apart or break up a little bit by the time it gets to the metro late afternoon and early evening. So I think the wettest weather Friday will be in the hill country. Also, the strongest storms on Thursday may be there too, with a 1 out of 5 severe weather threat. But adding up the rain Thursday, Friday looks like a decent 1/4 inch to 1 inch of rain, but there could be some localized 1 to 2 inch amounts, especially in the hill country where that line of downpours and storms moves through on Friday. That's why the rain chances are lower on Friday, because I don't think the rain's going to make it as far east. Drier for the weekend, then warming up into the 80s next week. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. KXAN's Brianna Hollis has been tracking Austin City Council races all day across the city.
Now she joins us live now to provide some more context on these races. Bree.
So one of the first people I spoke with today was Council Member Chito Vela. He's a current council member in District 4. His race hasn't been called just yet, but at this point it really doesn't look like anyone else is going to be able to catch up to him. He has more than 60% of the vote. He says his first term, he focused a lot on some issues that impacted the city of Austin as a whole, and he's now looking forward to having a more tailored focus on District 4 itself.
Now that we've settled a lot of the major issues, I really want to dig deep into the details of the district, talk about speeding and transportation issues. Those kinds of safety issues are very important to a lot of folks in the district.
And in District 7, a race with no incumbent, we do still anticipate a runoff in this election. A reminder, it's a packed field, 6 candidates. While we don't have a winner yet, because a winner would need to declare 50% of the votes to win, we do have a heavy front runner, and that is Mark Siegel, a former assistant city attorney here in Austin.
In a lot of different ways, I've been a part of community organizing on things like criminal justice reform, police oversight, environmental issues. And I brought people together to take action. But at the same time, I was a city attorney. You know, I wrote policy for the city. I went to court. I advised the city council, the city manager. And so I know how things work in City Hall.
And for the rest of the evening, we'll be keeping a close eye on very close races in Districts 6 and 10. Jen, Daniel.
All right, Bree, thanks so much. We have more election results coming up after the break.
I want to check in on some more local congressional races right now. In Texas District number 10, Michael McCall, the Republican there, winning re-election tonight, it appears, with 64% of the vote. He represents parts of Pflugerville, Bastrop, Manor, and Elgin.
And Congressional District 17, Pete Sessions winning with 67% of the vote there and winning that re-election.
House District 21 in Texas, Chip Roy projected to win re-election for another go-around with 62% of the vote, representing parts of Fredericksburg, Kyle, and New Braunfels. Now let's go over to Travis ESD 2's proposition. People are either voting for or against abolishing a sales tax. That tax helps fund the Pflugerville Fire Department, and it appears voters are not in favor of doing that. Those in favor, 31%. Those against the measure, 69%.
And Bastrop and Lockhart residents will each take up propositions for low-level marijuana possession of 4 ounces or less. In Bastrop, Prop M, that's what we're looking at now, receiving 69% of the vote, 31% against. And right now, we still don't have any numbers in for Lockhart. Of course, we'll have the latest on that on KXAN.com.
All right, we have Nick here. A couple last words about the weather for tomorrow.
Yeah, just a chilly start tomorrow morning. Could be our coldest morning since April. Where we have temperatures that'll expect to drop down well into the 40s in many communities. We may even have a couple of spots in the hill country that get down into the 30s to begin the day tomorrow. And then we'll be bouncing back into the upper 70s. But guess what? We're looking ahead to a little more rain coming our way Thursday and Friday. And if you're thinking about the weekend, don't you worry. Looks like the rain's going to be gone by then.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. We're going to send you back to NBC now for more coverage of the election. We'll have all your returns over on KXAN.com. And we'll see you here in about 10 minutes or so for another local update.